What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Steven, the Wandering Witness. Thank you for joining. Today we are going to go to the Piazza district. We're going to visit something called the Adwa Memorial. If you guys didn't see the last video, I'll leave the link down in the description. We were at the Menelik Cathedral, which is actually the second largest cathedral in Africa. We also went to the Church of Menelik II, near the royal palace of the current Prime Minister. And we went to the Science Museum and we saw the famous fossil of Lucy. So we're gonna head to the Piazza district. Afterwards, we're gonna go to Meskel Square. We're gonna visit a place called the Addis Ababa Museum. I'm gonna show you guys some awesome things. So stay tuned. We're gonna have a good time. All right, guys. So right now we're outside of the Piazza district. We're at the place called the Adwa Memorial. If you see the statue behind me, that commemorates in 1896 when the Ethiopians were fighting the Italians in the mountains of Adwa and they defeated them. This is important because this means that their culture, their tradition, and their history has been preserved. So for those of you who don't know, Ethiopia is actually the only African nation that was never colonized. Never colonized. They were defeated by King Menelik II and his wife, the Empress Queen Taitu Batul. She's also actually the one who gave the name Addis Ababa to the capital of Ethiopia, which means new flower. She also led her own battalion, cut off the water supply for the Italians that aided their defeat of the Italians back in 1896, and she was also an advisor of the king. Now, for those of you who may have watched the first video, we went to the Church of Menelik II near the royal palace of the current Prime Minister. We went underground, we saw the burial sites and such, some of the ancient holy relics that they have there. And for those of you who don't know what the Solomonic dynasty, how the story goes is, you can read about it in the book called the Kibra Nagast, which is Gez for Glory of the Kings. So how the story goes is when the Queen of Sheba visited King Solomon, they were intimate with one another. 9 months later, she gave birth to Menelik I, who is the descendant of King Solomon. When he visited King Solomon and came back to Ethiopia, he came with the sons of the high priest, and they brought back the Ark of the Covenant that they keep in the city of Aksum still to this day. This was the spark of what is called the Solomonic dynasty. So to legally be an emperor or a king in Ethiopia, you had to prove that you were related to King Solomon. A little bit how the story goes is that when the Queen of Sheba visited King Solomon, they were intimate with one another, and he gave her a ring, which was supposed to be a sign that if she was pregnant with his child, this ring would serve as a sign that the child belonged to King Solomon. So Menelik I visited King Solomon. He was in a state of apostasy. This was during the time that King Solomon had many wives. The Bible says he had 700 wives, 300 concubines. So he loved women, and these women caused him to turn away from God. He started to serve other gods. He had backslid. So you can kind of say that Menelik I took advantage of that. Because of this, it created a lot of problems for Israel. They eventually went into exile. So Ethiopia is like the new Zion, the new Israel, the new protectors of the faith. In that story, the Kibra Nagast, King Solomon had a vision, and in that vision, he saw the sun hovering over Jerusalem. It departed from Jerusalem and started to hover over the city of Ethiopia. He waited to see if it would come back, but unfortunately it didn't. It resided over Ethiopia, and King Solomon kind of took this as a sign from God that he had turned his back from Israel because they had turned their back on him, and he had turned his face towards Ethiopia. And that's why they view themselves as like the new Zion, the new Israel, the protectors of the covenant. Now, that's not the end of it though, because about 40 years later, the Italians came back in 1935, 1936, and they actually occupied Addis Ababa for 5 years. But they were never colonized. There's a difference between occupying a city and actually colonizing a country. Because during those 5 years, the patriots of Ethiopia kept fighting off the Italians, and eventually they defeated them the second time. They defeated Mussolini and prevented colonization. During that time, Haile Selassie was the emperor, the king of Ethiopia, and he's also the last king of Ethiopia. After Haile Selassie, that's when they ushered in the prime minister. So if you guys didn't know any of that stuff, you do know now. For those of you who may be skeptical and say, oh, that's not in the Bible, so I don't believe it. there's a lot of things I got to say about that. But we do know from the Bible that King Solomon did have 700 wives. He did have 300 concubines. We do know that he loved women, and we do know that the Queen of Sheba visited King Solomon. So it's safe to say that he more than likely made a move on her. Now, this isn't something that's dogmatic. The Ethiopian Tewahedo Orthodox Church doesn't have a dogmatic position on this. So some people are free to believe it. Some people are not. It's not something that's going to affect your salvation or the standing of the church. Me personally, I do believe it because there's good evidence for it. But like I said, it's not dogmatic, so you don't have to believe it if you don't want to. So this is the Piazza district. Piazza, if I'm not mistaken, is Italian for plaza. So even though Ethiopia was never colonized, you can still see some of the Italian influences that were still left behind, like restaurants and buildings and such. So I'm going to stop talking because I'm talking a little bit too much. I'm pretty sure you guys want to see the beautiful country of Ethiopia, the motherland, Africa. Also, if you guys don't know, Ethiopia is also the diplomatic capital of Africa, because I believe here is the United Nations of Africa, with Haile Selassie being one of its founding members. But double check the information on that, because I'm still learning the history of Ethiopia as I go. So don't take everything that I say, always verify it, and if it's true, hey, your boy did his job. So let me show you the beautiful, beautiful Konjo city of Ethiopia, and I want you guys to see this place vicariously through me if you guys never choose to visit. But you guys should visit here. People here are very hospitable, very friendly. They feed you, they give you injera, they give you tej. They're very welcoming. They're very nice. So that's one of the, outside of the history of Ethiopia, the main things that I love about this country is the hospitality of the people, its culture. I love the Habesha clothes. If you see me wearing the Habesha clothes right now, I love its tradition. So, all right, let me stop talking. Let me show you guys around a little bit. I'm originally from New York. I've been telling people that when I walk through Addis Ababa, I feel like I'm walking through Manhattan, New York. This is an awesome statue. You see people here all the time, especially at night. They'll have like the sprinklers come on, some of the lights, people here, you hear music late at night. People looking at me like, what's this guy doing? What's this foreigner doing? What is he doing? They're not used to people walking around with a camera. But they're gonna have to get used to it. Sorry, guys. Let me show you this. This is a beautiful view. Beautiful, beautiful view. Konjo, Konjo, Konjo. Tell me that's not a nice view. We're going to be walking all the way down to Meskel Square, and then we're going to go to Addis Ababa Museum next to Kidus Estefanos, St. Stephen Church. By the way, my name is Stephen, if you guys didn't catch that. So like around like 5 or 6, when it gets a little bit later, because it's too early in the morning right now, you'll see the sprinklers come on. They'll put the speakers over here and start playing music. I've seen some people come out here and do the Akista dance. That's like the traditional Ethiopian dance. They have some more, but the main ones that I really know about is the Akista. They don't do nothing with the lower body. They just pretty much start moving your shoulders and stuff. You see business people here, people trying to sell you SIM cards. Hopefully we don't run into any soldiers or cops or anything like that, because they're not too fond of the filming, especially when you put in government buildings. But like I said, they're gonna have to get used to it. I paid $2,000 to come here, so I'm gonna film if I want to. Now, just for the record, the videos, the pictures, and all that stuff don't do this country any justice. I really recommend coming to this country and seeing yourself, because I'm telling you, when you see the hospitality of these people, me being from America, our people are not like that. Our culture is weird. We got a lot of weird things about our culture. But if you come here to Addis, trust me when I tell you, these people are very hospitable. The amount of times that I had to tell them that I'm full because they kept feeding me food is countless. They will make sure that you are full. They will make sure that you are satisfied. They will make sure that you are taken care of. And, I really can't speak enough about this place. Like, coming here is really like opened up my eyes to the world. There's a whole world out there. There's a whole bunch of people out there, cultures, traditions that, you know, are foreign to me that I don't know anything about. Beautiful. So right now, we're gonna take off from Piazza. We're gonna go to Meskel Square. Meskel is cross, by the way. Meskel is Amharic for cross. We're gonna go to Meskel Square because there's a museum there that I want to show you guys. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the mountains of Adwa, the Battle of Adwa. Show you some of the weapons and some of the history of that. And I think you guys are gonna love it. All right, so we're gonna cut the video off right here, and I will see you guys soon. Ooh, this is nice. This is outside the gates of Kidus Stephanos. We stopped by here because it's pretty much on the way. The Addis Ababa Museum is just up the street, but I wanted to show you guys the beauty of the iconography. Traditional instruments of Ethiopia. Habesha clothing. Konjo. Salamna. Every time I come through here, I want to buy something. But truth be told, I want to buy everything here. That's gonna do it, guys. All right, let's go to the museum. All right, guys, so we're at the Addis Ababa Museum. Outside of the museum at Intoto Park, this is possibly the best museum I've been to. So over here, this is King Menelik II. He's part of the Solomonic dynasty. And this is his wife, the queen, the empress, Taituputul. She's the one who gave the name Addis Ababa to the capital of Ethiopia. She also served as an advisor to the king. She led her own battalion. She cut off the water supply of the Italians, which aided them in their victory over the Italians. So a lot of the times when you hear about like kingdoms and history, they don't really talk about the women. But here in Ethiopia, women played a very pivotal role in Ethiopia. They served as soldiers, they served as people, as nurses, taking care of wounded soldiers and such. They also cooked a lot of food. So I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of the times women don't get the recognition that they deserve. But here in Ethiopia, they played a very pivotal role in the overall, success of Ethiopia and where it's at today. So compared to the Italians, they were a little bit much more advanced to the Ethiopian soldiers. So some over here, you see like swords, shields that they would use against the Italians. And it also shows the creative side of Ethiopia because a lot of these shields were actually made out of hippopotamus skin, skins of hippos. This, if I'm not mistaken, is the father of Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie was the last king and emperor of Ethiopia. And if I'm not mistaken, this is his wife. But again, don't quote me on that. I'm not going to do too much talking because I just want to show you guys just the beauty of this museum, the beauty of the things that they have here. These things were like used by the kings, used by the queens. You see some of these robes. I would love to wear this, by the way. I would love to wear something like this and walk down the streets. This is like a saddle that you put on a horse. So in these Bibles, they use the Gez language. That's the ancient liturgical language of Ethiopia. It's also used by the Eritreans. It's not Amharic. It's pretty much related to Amharic, but not exactly the same. When I first saw these, I thought these were keys. Those are not keys. These are actually crosses. So don't be fooled. They don't unlock anything. These are some of the first telephones that were in Ethiopia. If I'm not mistaken, Menelik II is the one who brought in the phones and such. Military attire. I would love to wear this down the street. Some of this fur were made from like Galata monkeys. Galata monkeys are the exclusive only to Ethiopia. So if you go to other countries, you're not going to see them. Also from the mane of a lion. This, you can see like the history of Ethiopia as it was growing, as it was thriving. I believe this was the first airplane. That's either Kidus Georges or King Menelik II. Kidus Georges, Kidus Gabriel, Mikel. Those are some of the saints that are very beloved here in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa, all over this country. So believe it or not, that was an actual horn, and they turned it into a canteen. So they would keep water. They would also keep tej. Tej is like honey wine. It's one of the traditional drinks here in Ethiopia. But it also shows the creativity, because a lot of this was made from skin from animals that they hunted and killed. Look at it. That is beautiful. Ethiopia is a country that has rich history of warriors, legends. So this is the Battle of Adwa. Here are the Ethiopian side. Here are the Italians. If you notice, the Italian soldiers had a lot of guns. They were much more advanced compared to the warriors of Ethiopia. But that didn't matter, because the Ethiopians defeated them on two separate occasions, in 1896 and 40 years later in 1941, if I'm not mistaken. Right here is Kidus Georges. So he's the patron saint of soldiers. A patron saint, the best way I could explain it, let's say you were working in trades or fishermen, your patron saint could be like Saint Peter. If you're in the military, you're a soldier, your patron saint could be Kidus Georges. So hopefully you guys get the picture. Now I heard a story, I don't know if it's true whether or not, maybe it could be just a myth or folklore. But during the Battle of Adwa, they said that they saw a man on a white horse slaying down the Italian soldiers. That would be Kidus Georges. He's one of the most beloved saints here in Ethiopia. He actually has a church near the Piazza district. Maybe we'll go there. This is the shit I talked to you about, made out of hippopotamus skin. That's right, hippopotamus skin. Whether or not those can block bullets, I don't know. I hope that it did, but it shows the creative side of Ethiopia. Look at that. Tell me you wouldn't wear that. I would wear this probably every day. I mean, I had to have a watch, of course, but you guys get the gist. Some of the guns that they were using. So believe it or not, France actually aided Ethiopia, actually played a pivotal part in them upgrading their weaponry and such. This is the old currency that Ethiopians used to use. This is the Emperor King Haile Selassie. He was the last of the Solomonic dynasty. The largest bill that they had was the $500 bill. They don't use this anymore. The highest bill that they have is a $200 bill. So they have a $200 Birr, $100 Birr, 50 Birr, 10 Birr, 5 Birr. And they have some coins. I'm not exactly sure what you call those. Here are like some of the leaders that you see all over the continent of Africa. That's Barack Obama. That's Bill Clinton. That's Nelson Mandela. That is Haile Selassie, the last emperor of Ethiopia. I believe he died in 1974, August 27th. There's some speculation how he died. Majority believe that he was assassinated because he was put under house arrest under the Birr. The Birr were pretty much military soldiers, low-ranked military soldiers who pretty much, rebelled. You can say it. I would not want to be shot by one of those things. All right, we're almost done. We're gonna go upstairs. Salam. As you guys can see, I like to keep my videos short, only because I don't want people to get bored. I like to get straight to the point. Here we're talking about the history of Ethiopia, which is one of the main things that I love about this country. This is like a painting when they first started incorporating schools. Pretty much after they defeated the Italians, you really started to see the thriving, the upgrading of the country of Ethiopia. I'm sorry if I'm going too fast. You could always pause the video. I don't want to take too long because I need to get permission to film in here. Luckily, they gave me permission. So out of respect for them, I don't want to take too long inside of here. Addis Ababa, new flower. the name given by the Empress Queen Taituputul. God bless her. If you ever come to Ethiopia, you can see this near the Piazza district. You can also see it near Unity Park. Unity Park and Friendship Park are like the most well-known big parks here in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. They have more parks, but those are some of the most well-known. These are some of the important men in the history of this company. Oh, excuse me, I said company, in the history of this country. I would love to take this home. So, like I said, I didn't want to take too long. Just wanted to show you guys the museum, give a little bit, a visualization of the history of the country, some of the weapons that they use, some of their creative side. That's gonna do it. So we're gonna exit. I want to show you guys a nice view of Meskel Square. It's one of the best views I've seen. Right now it's raining, so we're gonna wait for the rain to stop, and then I'll show you guys the view. All right, come right back. This is the view that I was telling you guys about. So beautiful. This is a beautiful country, I'm telling you. You can just sit here and relax, just watch the view, watch the people, watch the thriving city, watch all the big buildings. It's a truly beautiful country. All right, guys, so we made it back to the hotel safely. I want to thank you guys again for watching. We're going to rest here a little bit. We went to the Piazza district at the Adwa Memorial. Then we went to Meskel Square for the Addis Ababa Museum. The only reason I didn't film too much is because around the Piazza district, there's a lot of like cops, federal police, and government buildings. So they may be a little bit iffy with the whole filming thing. And Addis Ababa Museum, we almost didn't get permission to film inside, but thankfully the manager gave us permission. Wanted to show you guys pretty quickly the history behind Ethiopia, the history behind Adwa, and why the Habesha people take such pride in their nation and their identity and such. Again, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment down below. It would help this channel grow. I promise as time goes on, I'll get better with the shots and the editing and such. I'm still new to the whole YouTube thing. And I also want to apologize for not uploading videos more often. I've been pretty busy moving hotels, finding places to do my laundry and such, because again, we're here for 2 months. So I had to get used to like the neighborhood and the culture and the tradition and the atmosphere pretty much. So that's gonna do it. Thank you guys again for watching. For all of my Habesha people, I miss a Ginalu, Denaunu, ciao ciao, Exaphidius the link. And of course, as I always say in all my videos, the only one holding yourself back is you. Live life. Don't hold yourself back. Stay safe. God bless. Thank you.